so many young people in our, particularly African Americans, their whole goal in life is just to be famous. Mm-hmm. They want to sing, they want to rap, they want to, do whatever, sports, whatever. And it's one thing to do those things for the love of the art or the game. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people want that or other endeavors just to be famous, right? Just for people to know who they are and all that. And I've got a degree of fame. Mm-hmm. And fame is overrated.
What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go. What's going on, y'all? This is Coach Mike D with another episode. And if you're watching the video, you'll see that this episode involves someone that you've probably seen before. Now, he looks a little different because he got some facial hair now, whatever. But I was just giving him a hard time about it before we started. But we have my man Chris Broussard back on the podcast. And if you don't know who he is, I mean, world-renowned sports commentator, sports reporter, analyst. I mean, you see him on Fox Sports. You see him all over the place. Like, if you say the name Chris Broussard and you Google it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I know this brother. Again, if you're watching the video and you see him, you're like, who's the dude with the beard? I ain't never seen no facial hair.
I used to have a goatee. The goatee, but not the full beard.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? It's a little, people make connections in their mind, right? And so,
well, I've been getting a lot of comparisons to Sean Connery or light-skinned Teddy Pendergrass. So I said, you know what, that'll work.
Light-skinned Teddy P. See, that's your wife trying to juice you up, man. Come on. But literally, we're not going to spend too much time on his backstory. If you really want an in-depth backstory of the brother, go back to episode 201, where he really gave a full insight on growing up and moving around and insights, inspirations, and everything, which led him to where he is today. So definitely go check that one out. But for those that are tuning in today, let's welcome my man, Chris Broussard. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
Man, I'm wonderfully well, man. I can't complain about a thing, my brother.
Good. It's great to be on with you.
Man, I appreciate it, man. And, before we jump in, I always have the brothers give shout outs, because who are we without the wind beneath our wings, our support system, and all of that. So give some quick shout outs, man, and then we'll jump into our convo, brother.
Well, I certainly shout out my wife, Crystal Broussard, Dr. Crystal Broussard. We've been married 27 years.
Ooh,
and
congrats.
So, things are going well. My parents are actually living with us now.
Really?
My father and mother, yes, because there's some health challenges that they're going through. So it's been great. They've been with us now for almost a year. Mm-hmm. And so that's been good. My daughters, Alexis and Noelle, are doing really well. My daughter, Noelle, works at BET in content coordination. And my other daughter, Alexis, is doing psychology or research in the psychology department at Yale.
Oh, wow.
So she's up in Connecticut. So they're out of the house, but the nice thing is they're close enough where we see them every couple of weeks. So things are going well, no doubt.
That's amazing, man. I mean, it's a true blessing to have that, you know what I'm saying? And to have family and to have, kids, but in wife to support, but then also your parents. And you mentioned, recently your parents moved back into the house, and I don't think we even scheduled to talk about this. That's such an interesting perspective, because as we age, that's something that a lot of us have to consider and think about. Like, I mean, you don't have to go into specifics on what's going on, but like, how has that transition been, having your parents, live with you all over this last year?
Well, one thing I'll say is that often over the years, I've thought about this of how when parents grow older, and they're elderly, how back in the day, in most cases, I'd say, for the most part, they grew older with their family, right? Because families were in the same town, they're in the same area. So their kids were there, their grandkids were there. And I'm sure that made it much better than a lot of cases nowadays where your parents are in a whole nother state than you are. And, they're growing old by themselves. In addition to health challenges, they just might be lonely. You know what I mean? And so my parents were in Cleveland, Ohio. My brother's near Detroit in Michigan, and I'm in New Jersey. And so they were growing up or older by themselves. They certainly have friends around and things like that. But it's not the same, obviously, as your two sons. And my father and mother, when his father grew older after his wife died, my grandmother, they brought my grandfather in to live with them. And then when he died, my other grandmother died, they brought my mom's dad to live with them. So this is really just kind of carrying on what I've seen in my family. And they're doing well. My dad has cancer and my mom has dementia. So he's been watching her. And we knew once he got cancer that it would put not only a physical strain, but a mental and emotional strain on him to keep, kind of watching her by himself with the cancer. So we definitely thought it was the best thing for them to come here. And it's been, honestly, man, it's been fun. Just having them around. My mom's dementia, she still has her long-term memory. So she's able to, she recognizes everybody and can have an intelligent conversation. She just has no short-term memory. So they're still a bit self-sustaining. So my wife and I can still go out on dates and do some things. But having them here, man, it's family. It's good. And I joke with them, I'm the parent now. So tables have turned. So.
You've been keeping a tab. It's like I've been keeping a ledger.
Right.
So
remember
from zero.
Remember this, 1984. No, but it's been great, man. It's been great, and I'm just glad that we have the space to take them in and help take care of them.
Man, and I appreciate you for, being open and honest and kind of sharing that because, the thing is, as we grow older, initially our thoughts are just on our kids. We're raising our kids, but then we don't think about the opposite side of that, our parents, because as we age, our parents are aging. And then you have to think about what situation, is best for them to have the best quality of life, but then for us all to be able to grow, in the process, because we all will hopefully, God willing, age in our own lives. And so, putting them in a position to succeed, to me is an awesome thing. And so, man, kudos to y'all for being able to do that. And I hope somebody listening to that, maybe thinks about it from the standpoint of their family structure as well. And if they're able, maybe it's something to consider.
Right. No, it's like I said, it's been a blessing for us, and I'm glad we could do it.
No doubt. And so since our last meeting, man, I guess things have been pretty consistent with you, but they've just kind of amped up a little bit. So I think on the job with regard to, with Fox Sports and doing your thing, any new changes? Because I think you were doing the Odd Couple when we talked before. And I think you had moved into the new role. Was it First Take at that point or sometime after that? Right?
First things first. I don't remember exactly when we spoke, but in August of this is 2022, August of 2021, I became a co-host of First Things First on FS1. Right. Okay. And it was a morning show at that time from 7:30 to 9:30 Eastern. And I'm still a co-host. But since then, in September, we went to the afternoons. So now we're on from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So that is the big change, co-hosting that show and doing it in the afternoons. And then I go from that to still doing the Odd Couple with Rob Parker on Fox Sports Radio. 7 to 10 p.m. So my day is pretty full. Like I will have a 10 a.m. call to determine the topics we're going to talk about. I hop on an 11 a.m. train from New Jersey into New York City, get to the studio about 12:30, prep for the shows 3 to 4:30, then hop on the train back home at about 6:30. And then from 7 to 10, I'm doing the radio show. So
wow,
the days are full, but I'm doing something I enjoy, and it's been a great change.
That's awesome, man. The days are full, but when you're doing something that you love, again, there are always ups and downs day in and day out. But ultimately, when you're doing something that you love, what you're called to do, what you were basically put here to do from a communication perspective, and also from the standpoint of, where your interests lie, you're doing what you're supposed to do, right? And that changes the game for a lot of people.
No doubt. And I tell youth this when I speak to youngsters, and I'll say it to fathers or mothers who may be watching, that they can instill in their children is a few things. Number one, you want to, first of all, education is the way to get ahead in American society. 100%. Okay. Maybe in other societies it's different. Mm-hmm. And yeah, occasionally you got some athletic prodigy or some musical prodigy who makes it just based on that talent and hard work. But for most people in this society, the way to get ahead is education. And the thing about getting your education is that it allows you to choose your career. Okay. I chose to be, as you said, a sports writer, now a sports broadcaster. My wife chose to be a medical doctor. My daughter chose to be a psychologist or psychiatrist, whichever one she decides to go in. My other daughter chose to work in film and TV, and now she's at BET. So getting that education, particularly doing well, not just getting the paper, but your grades are good. You're getting involved in the school, in the educational process, and you really learn. That allows you to choose what you want to do, which is something we all have, because we all going to have to get a job. And a lot of people, maybe even most, have jobs they don't really enjoy.
Most don't.
It's just taking a paycheck. And that's what happens a lot of times when you don't get a good education. You just have to take whatever you can get. Secondly, as I said, you want to choose something you enjoy. So what the formula I used to choose my career was something I enjoyed, which was sports, plus something I'm gifted at, which was writing. And I put those two together, became a sports writer. So I would say to the parents, look at your children, talk to them about exploring, what their likes are and what their gifts are. And then think about and discuss with them how that can turn into a viable career. If your son likes rapping, he likes writing rhymes, whether he ends up, chances are he won't be, a big time rapper, but that could turn into writing books. You could be a novelist. You could be a journalist. I used to write rhymes, and I became a journalist. You could be a professor, English professor, writing films and screenplays and things like that. They're all, that's just one example of how taking it something you enjoy and might be talented and gifted in can turn into a viable career. Even kids, we all like sneakers, even to this day. I'm sure you got a few nice pair. But some people design those sneakers. Some people work for Nike, Reebok, Adidas, whoever it may be, in marketing, in PR, working with the various athletes that they work with, public relations, PR. So, these are the things we have to talk to our children about and set them on the path to really prosper in that regard.
And I 100% agree with regard to education. And I would add to that, not just formal education, but informal education, right? And to me, it's taking the degree, it's taking the, your training, it's taking your skill set and also looking at ways to informally educate yourself. And basically it's prioritizing learning, right? Because we have to also prioritize learning and how to bring it all together and practically bring it to market, right? Or bring it to, the masses, or bring it to people who can use the gift, the talent, or the skill that we have currently embedded inside of us. And to me, this is an interesting lead in, because you're talking about the formalized education, and I'm adding in kind of the informal learning, kind of life experience, and merging the two together. Because for some who then have an opportunity, or then put themselves in, basically a position in which maybe they're in the public spotlight. Now you're educated, you got the skill set, you got the talent, you got the gift, but now you got the spotlight on you, right? And so, and I'm talking to you, you're a public figure. You're someone, if you walk through the airport, people probably stop you. If you're getting on and off the train in New York, folks are probably stopping you, want an autograph, or want to get your take on who's going to win the game, or whatever it may be. How do you then take the formal stuff and combine it with the informal stuff to then position yourself to properly handle being in the spotlight?
Well, I think the informal, first of all, is very critical. And that's a great point. Some of our greatest African-Americans have been self-educated or informally educated, if you want to use that word. Frederick Douglass taught himself to read. Malcolm X was self-educated.
Marcus Garvey.
Right. And I don't put myself in that class, obviously, but after college, I became an avid reader. I have hundreds of books in my house, hundreds. And every room, we didn't do this on purpose, but one day I was working with kids, and it came to my mind, this would be a good teaching lesson. We went through my house, every single room had books in it, including the kitchen. They were cookbooks mostly, but still, every room had books to emphasize the importance of reading. And I became an avid reader, particularly about African and African-American history and just current issues impacting our people, Christian and religious history, and, studies and things like that. Those are the main focuses for me, but other things as well. And so that's another way I've educated myself. And quick plug, in doing that, over the years, decades ago, I began teaching seminars on the Black presence in the Bible, like Black people that are in the Bible, Black nations that are in the Bible. Black people and nations are mentioned hundreds of times, if not over 1,000 times in the Bible. And I taught how to identify those individuals and nations as well. And it led to me, just that type of study led to me being in a documentary that came out about 2 or 3 months ago called Unspoken. And I would encourage all all African Americans or people of African descent, and all Christians, regardless of race. And then, of course, everybody, whether falling in those two categories or not, to check it out, though, because what it does is it details with scholars, pastors, theologians, and then just public figures like myself. The rapper Lecrae is in it, but where it details the history of Christianity in Africa, dates back 2,000 years. And then the strengths of the Black American church. It destroys the myths that Africans were first introduced to Christianity in slavery or colonialism. It's a really deep, detailed study on these topics, on African history as it relates to Christianity. So I was able to be in that through being a person who over decades self-educated themselves in these. So I just wanted to say that is incredibly important. As far as being in the public eye, I think the first thing you have to realize if you're going to be in the public eye and if you want to be in the public eye, because so many people want to be in the public eye. The first thing is you're going to be criticized. Okay, regardless of who you are going to receive criticism if you're in the public eye. When Barack Obama was president, yeah, some people loved him, but just as many people hated him.
Absolutely. Yep.
And every single day he took criticism. After him, you know, Donald Trump president, he took, you know, feel how you want about him. He took a lot of criticism. You know, every president does. LeBron James, a great basketball player, everyone would acknowledge. He got people that love him, and he gets a lot of hate and criticism. Anyone in the public eye, whether you're an actor, whether you're a musician, singer, athlete, politician, someone like myself, I get criticized. Like, you have to have thick skin to be in the public eye. So if you want to be in the public eye, understand no matter how great you might be, no matter how great you think you are, you're going to have some haters. Okay. And so you have to be ready to deal with that. Number one. Number two is you have to realize what type of person you are.
Woo, big.
If you are the type of person that will feed off the public criticism, a Michael Jordan, a Tom Brady, then fine. You can look at everything, read the comments, see what people think about you, you know, and use it to fuel yourself to be better. If you're the type of person that stuff would get in your head and you would start thinking too much about it, and the doubts would creep in because of other people's doubts and criticism about you. Remember LeBron, when he had that meltdown against Dallas in 2011, before he won a championship in the finals, what did he do from that point forward? When the playoffs started, he cut off all social media, didn't watch sports television, he called it 0 Dark 30, if I remember correctly, cut everything off because it had gotten into his head, the doubts or what people were saying, and began to affect him. And so he recognized what type of person he is. I think now he is able to do it, but at that point he needed to cut it out. A lot of it for me is just time. Look, I'm not up the social media era, right? I mean, I do social media and all that, but I'm not, you know, I didn't grow up with my phone in my hand 100%. All the time. And, you know, I'm not the one to be, oh, what's so on Twitter, my comments, let me go back. I got other things I'm trying to do, but still, I don't really pay attention to what's said about me on social media. You know, and that helps because, you know, I don't know what people are saying about me in a lot of cases. So I think you got to recognize what type of person you are. And so I think those are two key things. And then thirdly, I would say that fame is, people got to understand this. And Mike, it disappoints me so many times when I see so many young people particularly African Americans, their whole goal in life is just to be famous. They want to sing, they want to rap, they want to, you know, do whatever, sports, whatever. And it's one thing to do those things for the love of the art or the game. But a lot of people want that or other endeavors just to be famous, right? Just for people to know who they are and all that. And I've got a degree of fame. And fame is overrated. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and lie. There are definitely benefits to being famous. And I like the degree of fame I have is really good because, you know, I can still go and enjoy a dinner at a restaurant without people bothering me. You know, LeBron James can't go anywhere. Steph Curry, you got to have bodyguards everywhere you go. But the degree I get it to is, for the most part, flattering. People do recognize me. People do want to take pictures here and there and, you know, things like that. It's not overwhelming where I can't walk through the streets. but it still is fame.
Mm-hmm.
And the benefits of fame are that you get stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As Charles Barkley said it, the more you famous you get, wealthier you get, it's incredible because you don't need necessarily people to give you things, but they do. So you sometimes I've been places where somebody bought me a meal or a drink, that I didn't even know, and things like that. So you and just gifts that people send to you and give you and things like that. And then what I love, and then of course the money that comes with fame.
Absolutely.
So those are benefits. I'm not saying there's no benefits to it and none of it's good. And then what I love, the thing I love most about fame is that I can impact people, positively.
People listen to what you say.
I speak at school. Exactly. I speak at schools. I speak at churches. I speak at corporations. And one thing I always say is when I go to speak somewhere, I don't have to win the crowd.
Ooh.
They already are listening because, oh, wow, he used to be on ESPN. He's interviewed LeBron James. He's, on Fox Sports. He's
credibility.
Right. They ready to listen. Now, if I lose the crowd, that's on me. That's my fault. But they are listening.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And now every speaker doesn't have that benefit.
That's right.
Most speakers, you have to win the crowd. They're saying, what's this guy going to say? So those are some of the benefits of fame. But if you are only in it for the ego boost, like people coming up to you wanting to take pictures, people want autographs, people knowing your name, you can't live off that.
You can't.
You can't have joy, peace that's sustainable off that. Yeah, in the moment it's an ego boost. Oh wow, yeah, okay.
That's not sustaining.
In the moment, it's fleeting, man. If you don't, and that's why we see so many. It's sad, man. I can't remember which superstar singer it was about. The movie. Well, I went to see the Elvis Presley movie. I recently. I went to saw on Broadway, and I watched the Michael Jackson play on Broadway, which was well done, and for the most part, they kept it positive. But obviously, his life was a mess. Let's just call it like it is. As great as Michael Jackson was as an entertainer, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Elvis, like on and on and on, man. So many of our Kelly. Our entertainers who are these huge superstars, their lives are a mess. And because you can't live off of accolades and people fawning over you. Okay. And if you don't have a strong sense of self, if you don't have something else you're grounded in, God, family, a strong marriage, whatever it might be, then you can get lost. And that is what happens, because especially a lot of our young people, when they become famous rappers, singers, athletes, they're young. All of us at 18 and 19, we don't know who we are yet. We're, and it swoops you up and chews you up and spits you out, man. So I just tell young people, man, don't chase fame. Chase something you're passionate about, whether if it's music, singing, sports, whatever. And if it makes you famous, great. But know who you are, be grounded in who you are, chase your passion, and then you'll be able to handle the fame. You won't get so blown, big-headed and arrogant and think you more than you are. And then you find out you can't handle what the fame is coming your way. So I think that's a very important message, because I'm telling you, this, man, we could just run off a litany of famous, people that we all look up to, and oh wow, and their lives were a mess, man.
Brother, I'm gonna say, and I know you got a hard stop here. You can't eat accolades like you mentioned before. So the fame is cool and its benefits to it, but there are downsides. You need to understand who you are, and you need to be grounded in something. Speaking of grounding, you're the creator, the founder, executive director, and everything of the King movement. give me a quick shout out about the King. I'm getting tongue tied here. The King movement and what y'all got jumping off in the future, and any tags that you want people to follow. And we'll shut this thing down and do a round 3 at some point.
Yeah, well, look, like you said, the King movement is a national Christian men's movement that stands for knowledge, inspiration, and nurture through God. I'm the founder and the president. Our executive director is Dr. Joseph Bryant.
That's right.
Who actually pastors the largest Black church in San Francisco, and also works with Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push Coalition. But we have chapters in about 20 cities throughout the country. And every year we do a national men's conference. We call it the King Summit.
Okay.
This year it is March 9th through 12th. In Philadelphia. We've done it in Atlanta. We've done it in Memphis. We've done it in Charlotte. And this year it's in Philadelphia at E9 Tabernacle Baptist Church, Pastor Alan Waller. The theme is let us make man. Let us make man, because as you know, Mike, we as African Americans, we're always in this country fighting for justice and equality so that we can improve the quality of life in our communities. And we part and parcel to improving the quality of life in our communities is strengthening and building up our boys and men.
Yes.
I do think there is a subtle attempt to kind of move the man out of the way.
It's not subtle. It's not subtle. It's not subtle. It's very much in your face, and yeah, right. Obvious.
And I will say, and I will admit this, and I'm talking about in our community in particular.
100%.
Some of it, I hate to say it, some of it, rightly or wrongly, whether you agree or not, is because people, a lot of Black women, a lot of mainstream society, white men and women, have lost faith in the Black man.
Woo!
They don't think, not that mainstream society may have never had faith in the Black man, but they don't think we're capable or we're willing to step up and do the job. And so, you know this, 20, 30 years ago, the fatherhood movement in the Black community was huge, right? Everybody was speaking about Black fathers, strengthening Black fathers, and we need to. Now, there are still brothers that I know, and I'm sure you probably know, that are out there, and you're doing it with your podcast, who are fighting for Black fatherhood. But it ain't getting the same national backing that it once did. And a lot of brothers that, right, is that they saying, well, you don't need the father to be in the home no more. You can have a home with 2 women running it.
Come on.
You don't need the man to get married to. They don't want to marry y'all anyway. So marry a woman. I mean, all of this is subtle, or maybe, like you said, not so subtle. But the Black man is being moved out. Like, and again, some of it's always in America, always from day one, or before it was even America, to make the Black man, to stifle the Black man's growth and leave him in boyhood, perpetual adolescence. That's what America has wanted to do for Black men. Keep them in perpetual adolescence, 40, 50-year-old boys. And that's one reason, this is just a superficial example, not superficial, but an example of why they wanted us to call them, they called us boys. You know, right? No matter how old you were, no matter how distinguished you might be in our community, you might be an elder in the church, a pastor even, and they called you boy. You couldn't look a white man in the eye like a man does. You know, they wanted you to remain in perpetual adolescence so you wouldn't lead a family, you wouldn't raise your children, you wouldn't help build up your people to be competitive in this society. And that is still going on to this day. And I think it's now gone to the level of trying to move the Black man out. entirely outside of entertaining us. Outside of you entertaining us on the football field or the basketball court or with a microphone in your hand as you rap, outside of that, we don't need you as a husband. We don't need you as a father, because you ain't gonna be the father. You know, this is the thinking, you know. And so that I think that is definitely and then of course just all the confusion around what a man is today. You know, people give you pushback for saying a man should be a provider, a protector, a leader of his household. You know, so we're saying, let us make man. You're getting a lot of confusing messages out there. We're gonna tell you, because God created man. 100%. So if God created man, then he determines what a man is, not society, not, you know, the Hollywood, not women, not other men. God determines what a man is. So we're going to share what God built us to be, what he created us to be, and how we can become that. And in becoming that, Mike, we will strengthen ourselves. We will strengthen our families. We will strengthen our children. And I'm sounding the alarm, brother. Black men, we got to step up. And I'm not diminishing all the obstacles that have been placed in our paths, all the negative things that we got to fight through, all the lies and negative propaganda that's been put out against us. Regardless, we got to fight through that. Okay, we got to fight to eliminate those obstacles and fight to overcome those obstacles. If the obstacles remain, we can't give in. We can't crumble. We can't throw our hands up and say, we can't do it. God has empowered us. God's given us the strength. He's given us the intelligence, the knowledge, the power, the ability to do it. And and as right as we are, when we talk about the systemic racism and the obstacles and what's not fair and what's not right and what's not been done to, or what has been done to us. And we're right in saying that. And there is a place for that. And we should continue to point out the wrongdoing. But if you ain't doing, after a while, some people get tired of that. Your women get tired of you just sitting around complaining about how you can't do this and you can't do that because they working again. She like, get up and do something then.
That's what, bro, let me tell you, I had this epiphany the other day, and it's about, you know, we pray and we're supposed to pray. We're supposed to meditate. We let God speak to us and we speak to God. But sometimes I think that God sits there and it's just like, fool, get up. I gave you everything that you need. It's like, I think it's almost like a commentary of, what the heck are you doing? I've already given it to you. What do you want me to go do it for you too? Right. It's just like, get up. And so, and I know some people, you know, say, get up off your knees, but technically at some point, God is like, all right, fam, you know, we don't have to go over and over and over and over, keep asking for the same thing. It's in front of you. Get up and go do it. Come back to me once it's done and I'll give you the next step. So to your point, I 100%. So it's not just everybody around us. I think God is saying, fool, get up.
No doubt.
You got it. Like this.
Absolutely right.
Oh man, we could talk for man, and we're gonna do this again too. But man, I'm gonna let you go because I know you got a hard stop. How can everybody follow you? How can people follow the King Movement? And I'll put all the stuff in the show notes. Give it to me.
All right. Well, King Movement, our website is kingmovement.com. Kingmovement.com. If you want to email us, get in touch with us, learn more about the summit, king@kingmovement.com, king@kingmovement.com. That's the email. You can find me, my website is Chris Broussard Speaks. Okay. So if anybody's interested in bringing me in to speak at a venue, whatever it may be, I just spoke at a local college just a couple days ago, or a college in New York. But Chris Broussard Speaks, you can literally book me on there and I'll come. But yeah, those are some way. On Twitter, I'm Chris _Broussard, Instagram, Chris Broussard 68. So yeah, bro, that's how people can get in touch with me. But yeah, so hopefully I see you and many other people that are fans of the podcast in Philadelphia. Let us make man. Brian Dawkins, the NFL Hall of Fame defensive back, is going to be a speaker. Pastor Eric Mason of Epiphany Fellowship Church in Philadelphia will be a speaker. I'm a speaker. Pastor Alan Waller, who's a pastor at Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church, the largest Black Baptist church in Philadelphia. Great brother. We're going to have lessons, teachings on fatherhood, being a husband, finances, mental health, and defending the faith, urban apologetics, exploring the Nation of Islam, the Black Hebrews, Chemeticism in relation to Christianity and the Bible, things like and African history. So it's going to be a lot of stuff, anything you can hope for. And there's a basketball tournament. So brothers want to hoop, if you got game, come on out. Jason Avant, the former wide receiver in the NFL, he'll be there. He's a speaker as well. It's going to be great, brothers. We're expecting thousands of Black men from all over the country, and it's for all men, but it's predominantly African Americans that'll be there, but all men are welcome. But we come on out, brothers. We need to come together and be strengthened and be emboldened to go out and do what God's called us to do, and to do what really our sons and daughters and wives need us to do.
Man, and as you say, when we text back and forth, strong in the Lord, right?
Amen, bro. Strong in the Lord, man.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, hey, as always, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. Y'all follow Chris Broussard everywhere. Check the links in the show notes for the King Movement Conference, March 9th through 12th in Philly. And hey, until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise, and I'll holler at you. All right, peace. Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always, always, always visit blackfathersnow.com, as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.